Hello everyone and welcome to the Endlessrise VIP bi-weekly webinar series. Hopefully everyone is having a wonderful new year and can hear me okay. If everyone can see the screen okay, it says PPC Project Management, and let me know if my audio is coming through. Great, that would be good. Alright, Greg and Barry, first ones out the gate. Let me know that audio is good. So if you're having any audio issues, that is on your end. Of course, I'm Paul Steinmetz, CEO of Endlessrise, and I have on the line with me here Donna Jimenez, our PPC manager. Donna, maybe you want to say hi to everyone.
Hi guys.
Donna's full of excitement. She's been anticipating this webinar for months. So, what are we going to be going over today? Well, we're going to be going over PPC project management, obviously, but I also wanted, since I have Donna on the line with us, to go over some of the line item details of the core PPC package itself, because I think that it's really important that all of you understand what the PPC service is, what those line items are. Okay, so people are on the line, can see my screen okay, can hear me okay. I had two recording devices running at the same time, so as Columbia was just asking, am I recording this? I am. I shut down the higher end recording device that I was using because I'm worried that that might have been limiting my bandwidth and could have caused things to crash. So I am recording it, and we will be able to go back over it. So getting into things here and just doing a check-in. Donna, are you there? Maybe Donna's there. She might have muted her mic. You might need to unmute.
Yes, I'm here.
There we go.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so just as a recap for people, if you haven't seen the new splash message whenever you get back in, I'm sure you'll see it. You have to see it. You have to click through it. So there is a new splash message, and then once you get through the splash messages, you would see your new dashboard overview. And I'm going to jump into some of the primary services on some questions that people might have on the packages themselves before we dive directly into the project management. As always, to be able to view services, of course, you would click on the Services tab, and then you're going to go into the View Services, and we're going to get through the PPC Services menu tab. To take a pulse for everyone that's on the line, can you give a shout out in the questions box if you have availed of a PPC campaign previously with Endlessrise, or if you are currently running a PPC campaign outside of Endlessrise even, or if you even have experience running a PPC campaign. Okay, Matt says just proposal so far. Mike says Donna's the queen. I agree. She's the queen of PPC. Okay, Sandra says, I'm afraid to offer it since I don't understand it well enough. MJ says, I have two proposals running. Okay, so it looks like a lot of people are either running them with us, have ran some before, but a lot of people are saying that they currently do not offer PPC because they're scared to offer it because of their lack of knowledge of PPC. Can I get a shout out for people? How many people are in the same boat? You're curious about PPC services. You got into the business to offer SEO services. You like online marketing, but you're scared to offer PPC because you don't know enough about it. Is anyone in the same boat? Anyone not offering PPC because you're scared? You don't know enough about it? There we go. Donna, you see those comments pouring through? So we have some educating to do. Yeah, you know, it is scary to offer PPC when you don't know what you're doing or talking about it, at least on the lightest layer. And why? Because you're spending people's money. SEO is a little bit different. They pay you, you do X, Y, and Z, they get traffic. PPC is different, right? You spend their money direct. So let me get into this menu here, and I'll go to View Package Details, and I'm going to get into the PPC Package Details. So for those PPC veterans out there on the line wanting to see us dive into the PPC project management, I'll get into that in a bit, but there are a lot of newbies on the line, and the majority of everyone on the line is not currently offering PPC services because they're not real comfortable with what it would take to do that. Oh, is it these new services not popping up? Let me see. Does anyone else have any issues hitting the View Package Details button? There we go. So Now I will get into pay-per-click advertising. So Donna, what's the primary difference between pay-per-click advertising and pay-per-click remarketing? Hopefully everyone knows this.
For the pay-per-click advertising, we're actually running in search network, while PPC remarketing is more on display network.
Okay, I'll clarify that in a bit. As Donna had said, traditional pay-per-click advertising, as I like to call it, traditional is what, client, you have a budget, it's given to Google, you pay a company like us to manage the campaign, and we successfully get ads to show up in the search engines for people that are typing in certain search phrases that match, or going to sites that match the type of content that's on your client's site. PPC remarketing is completely different in who it's targeting. PPC remarketing is only showing ads through the display network to people who have already visited the client's website. So pay-per-click advertising, the primary package that's here, it's split up between budgets, 500, 1,000, and 2,000. That's ad spend. So there's a difference between the ad spend and the management costs. When you go in your services menu and you look at how much the service costs you, that's management cost, right? Not the ad spend. I need to make that really, really clear to everyone, especially the newbies. When you run a PPC campaign, there's money that's paid not to us, there's money that's paid to Google, and that's what we call the ad spend. Okay, it is ad spend in US dollars, says Stuart. Yeah, it is in US dollars. So Donna, who pays the ad spend? Clearly, all of our clients on the line here would pay us the management fee, which they can see in their services menu. But who pays Google, and how do they pay Google?
Yeah, it's actually the end client who will be paying Google.
So the end client pays Google.
Yeah, yes. They set up the billing information. We give them the login details in AdWords. After we created the account, then they will set up the billing information through their credit card.
Okay. And you let them know how to do this?
Yes, we send step-by-step instructions to them.
Okay, great. So does anyone have any questions about that? Now, can you, the marketing agency on the in-between, pay Google Direct? Donna, do you see any companies sometimes paying the Google ad spend themselves instead of the client?
Yes, of course. They always have a choice. It's either they pay for their client or their client pay for it. It depends on whatever their agreement is.
Okay. So why wouldn't you want to pay us money to go and pay Google? Well, you have because there's a loss in transaction fees when you send money over to us. So you might as well pay Google Direct. So you can pay Google Direct, or your client can pay Google Direct. Donna, do you have a recommendation on which one? I hope my audio didn't just cut out there. I recommend that if you're charging the client's card for everything, well, actually, here's the thing on whether you pay Google Direct or your client pays Google Direct. It depends on how you're charging your client, which is going to get us down a long road on a pricing discussion. We have some PPC veterans in attendance today. How many PPC veterans charge their client based on a management fee and are transparent with the ad spend in Google, versus how many of you charge the client for PPC as a whole and you don't separate the Google ad spend from your management cost? Can I get some shout outs on that? That's really important. I got Greg saying separate. John says only charge the management fee, client plays the ad spend. Kendall says yes, charge a fee and the client picks their ad spend level. Okay. Blaine says I do the former, I lump it all together. Okay. Tim says my approach is to have them control their ad spend and I charge the fee equal to the monthly budget. Okay. Stuart says, do you base management fee as a percentage of ad spend? Now we do on these lower campaigns, okay? So yes, we do to you, but how you charge it to your client is really dependent on you. I mean, it gets a little sticky how you want to do that. If you want to mimic how we charge PPC, yeah, you can go to your client and say, hey, okay, so your ad spend that you're going to spend is $1,000. I'm going to charge you $500 a month to manage it. If you wanted to, okay. But I want to point out something. Traditionally, PPC with lower budgets is usually considered more of an SEO bolt-on, as the larger PPC companies that are out there are the ones that do PPC full-time. Typically do not take PPC campaigns with anywhere below $3,000 a month ad spend budget. And if any PPC veterans on the line want to give a shout out on what's your minimum ad spend that you'll accept from a client, go ahead and give a shout out. The reason some people say, hey, your management fees are really high, which are around 15% give or take, and I agree. Our management fees as an outsource are fairly high for 5,000, 500, 1,000, or 2,000 PPC ad spend. Why? Is because that's a low ad spend. It really is. You know, you don't want to go running a campaign and making a tremendously low amount of money. If you have a client that has a budget over $2,000 in PPC for spending, you need to contact your sales consultant, and they can correspond with Donna, and we need to get them custom quote over to you. Donna, on the larger PPC campaigns, what has to be taken into consideration on how much we charge? Because on the larger PPC campaigns, typically we wouldn't charge as big of a percent on a management fee. In fact, it can be considerably less percent cost on management fee on larger PPC ad spends. But Donna, what are some of the factors that we look into on larger ad spend? Say someone comes to us with a $5,000 or $10,000 a month ad spend budget. What do we got to look at to figure out what we're going to charge them?
It actually depends. First, we ask them if they have any existing PPC campaign already. Because if they have an existing one, then we can charge a lower cost, since all we need to do is to reorganize the campaign and optimize. But if we need to set up from scratch, then that's a different thing.
Right, right. Now, on the larger PPC campaigns, especially if they're pre-existing, the reason why it's a custom quote is because you might be running one ad group with 10 keywords on a $50,000 a month ad spend, or you might be running 1,000 ad groups with 10,000 keywords, right? I mean, the scope of how big a pre-existing PPC project is could be absolutely massive, or it could be tiny, and ad spend doesn't necessarily correspond to that. So if you've got an ad spend over $2,000 in PPC, our typical management rates do not apply above there. It should cost less percentage-wise, but we need to look into it and know what we're getting into and give you a custom quote. Okay? Alrighty. All right, let me burn through these as quickly as we can on the package details. And yes, there is education and training in the dashboard going over this, but let me just brief people. So we got the ad spend bracket. So on the lower end ones, we just bracketed up per the ad spend. And then we have our account setup and research phase that we get into. So yeah, we set up the account. If the account is pre-existing, then we ask it to be shared to us. Isn't that right, Donna? And we have it shared into our MCC account. And then what we do is we get the AdWords tracking code set up, right? And this is for traditional AdWords. Campaign management, yes, we get into the keyword research. We have a limitation on the number of keywords per each ad group. So for the lower ad spend, which is the $50 to $500, we do a total keyword research of up to 300 keywords. We limit 20 keywords per ad group. And we do make the search network available on all of them. So what's the search network? The search network is what? It's when you go into Google and you do a search, right? And you see the results come up. And at the very top, the PPC search results that are ads that look like the organic search results, they look almost identical now. They used to really stand out. Now they almost look the same.